Well, hello, folks. Today I'm going to do a video on the absolute 15-minute city corruption right here in my province, my home province, Alberta. And it's very personable. It's very personable to me. And it's my kids. My kids. And for those who don't know, I'm divorced. But in my divorce judgment of the time, it was my power over my child's education. I won the rights to their education. I won rights to their health care. The judge determined that I was involved in it all the way through. I did a great job on that as a father. They said, you continue. You're doing very well. And folks, I have a son. He's 30 years old today. Well, July. He's going to be 30 years old. And I was with him through his entire education right here in Alberta. He wasn't university material, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. The world needs all kinds of people in it. He gravitated to the trades. He loved the trades. He went through. And what used to be a blanket, which is the current laws in Alberta. Anyone can Google it. I'm not sure about other provinces, but what's happened to me here in the last 24 hours in regards to my children is propelling me to look at all provinces in Canada and do this analysis because I lived it. And, I know for a lot of ladies, it's you who deals with the children's education, but in my life, it was me who dealt with all my children, including my son. Again, is just turning 30. He's a journeyman welder. He's in the trades. He's doing very, very well for himself, making a very good living, right? That's all we want for our children, for them to be happy, them to pursue the things in life that they aspire to, that they enjoy, and then they can make the best living at it. That's, in my opinion as a parent, the best path forward for all children and everything they're going to be as adults in society. So my son went through that process. He did not gravitate to academics. Hands-on, very good hands-on. And when he hit the high school program and he graduated, he didn't have the course levels that were even recognized for trade school. Finishes grade 12, he had to go back to high school. He had to continue on past the 3 years. And in fact, he did that to 19 years old. The law of Alberta, no problem. The same high school my daughters are going to, he went to 11 years ago, coming July. 11 years ago, July, he finished at 19 years old there, getting his upgrades. He was allowed to stay there till 19 years old, doing 4 years of high school. And then from there, he did upgrading in outreach after the age of 19, where prices for courses become considerable. It's equivalent to college. Now, Albertans, Canadians, that's the city of Edmonton, and it's no different as I did the research in the last 24 hours, and it didn't matter Catholic or public or any other school, any other chartered school system crafted by any religion or group that was able to create one. So it doesn't matter which one you pick. This is provincial legislation that made a change after 11 years ago today. And in fact, 10 years ago today, my one daughter, my oldest now, who's graduating this year, who's a year younger than her age group, the natural age group, which I didn't like. So she's graduating only 17 years old. In fact, if she was able to do a fourth year, folks, at 17 years old in the city of Edmonton, she won't be 18 until next year. That's the truth. So technically, according to Alberta laws, she should be able to go to high school and upgrade a fourth and a fifth year, like it is in every rural community in Alberta. All provincial constituencies are all legally designed that way, meaning if you live in that community, you will go to that community high school closest to you until you hit the age of 19. And when you go to register, if you haven't got it by then, they say you must go on to an outreach program. There's chartered schools have it too. And then you're going to have to deal with the college expenses of it. The college that's going to be out of your community 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. Now, I'm in the city of Edmonton. What has changed since my son graduated high school, 19 years old, registered in his high school, the same high school, went through it till he hit the age of 19 and then had to go do several courses outreach. And he got it done. He got into the trades. Now, my daughter is 17. She is never going to be in the trades. It's just not her makeup. It's not her wants and desires. That doesn't appeal to her in any way, shape, or form. Now, this is her graduation year. She's just 17 years old. I wanted to hold her back a year because I didn't want her to struggle being younger and not ready. The school said, nope, we're putting her through. You have these 2 daughters. They're this far apart. She's going to have to eat it. They said that is the state's right, the Ministry of Education's right, to impose that on me, and too bad. That's what happened. Okay, I go through your system. Now, I'm apparently supposed to forget the law, forget what the school system was, when my son finished it now, right? 11 years ago, same high school, same province. The federal ministry after my son, 1 year after, the Progressive Conservatives, so now we're in 2013, okay, my daughter, she went through a census. They said, okay, we're going to go through the schooling system, yada, yada, yada. She's going to be a year younger than average all her peers. She'll graduate at 17. Don't worry if she's behind in any courses or doesn't have the grades to go on to pursue a post-secondary school. She'll have 2 years to upgrade. Except for, folks, guess what happens? Welcome to the 15-minute city. Mr. Bjorkman, you can't even leave the Catholic system, because this is what I find out. This is what the school tells me 48 hours ago in the Catholic system. Your daughter at 17 years old is going to have to go downtown Edmonton. Yes, from the southeast corner of Edmonton. And when you punch it in your Google, we start mapping it out. Okay, this new school, this is new, this is far away. She doesn't drive because of the Green New Deal. Neither of my daughters wish to pursue a driver's license, any of it in the city. Teachers all, oh no, you can take their advanced system of transportation. Don't make your impact be Green New Deal. But no, I'm sorry. At 17 years old, you're going to have to leave the southeast side at 6:02 in the morning is your first bus that allows you to make it for your 8 a.m. classes downtown. You have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You have to walk 20 minutes from your house to catch the only bus that allows you to make that schedule. 1 hour and 47 minutes of multiple transfers, multiple bus stations to get downtown. Yes. That's what you're going to have to do. It's the centralized 15-minute city education system. You can run away to Calgary. It's the same thing. You can run away to Red Deer. It's the same thing. You can leave the Catholic school system. So I go, okay, let's look at the public school high school. There's lots in Mill Woods. There's lots, right? Maybe they're not like the Catholics. Maybe they won't make my daughter do 4 hours of transportation busing a day for an 8-hour day, meaning a 12-hour day, right? So I go to the public system and say, okay, she lives in Millwoods. What will the public school system do for me? Okay, here's the big high school, and there's several of them. Every single one, because there's way more public school, high schools. They say, your 17-year-old daughter can't go here. She can't. She has to go to Central High, downtown Edmonton. We're in the 50-minute model. Doesn't matter how young she is. She's going to have to be college level in her life and learn the college level transportation system. 4 hours, and this is all over Edmonton. So it wouldn't matter if I lived in the far west end or in the northeast side or northwest side, southwest, southeast. Wouldn't matter where my child is going to school. When they've done their 3 years, regardless of age, regardless of all they told you, that used to be in place 11 years ago. The PCs changed it 10 years ago. When my daughter went through, they planned this out. Don't worry, she'll go to the centralized socialist system and be in that 15-minute city center. Every child in Edmonton will be. Every child in Calgary will be. You will. You will find a way to pay 18 times the cost of transportation that all rural constituencies in Alberta pay. And I know, I just researched today, hard. I was out visiting a friend who's an international, but he's home this week, so I'm spending a lot of time with him because I'm not going to see him for years, folks. That's what's generally going to happen. And so we're hanging out. I call the local high schools, check out the transportation. If I move myself and my daughter here, what is the transportation? What are the school fees? And guess what it is, folks? All rural Albertans will experience 18 times less on transportation, school registration, and fees associated with that child in all rural communities because they don't have a centralized system. Generally, small towns only have one high school, Catholic and a public. That's it. Your average small town. You can go all over Alberta. It's the same thing. No worries. You're registered in the district. You pay $70 a year for busing from your location to that high school within 15 minutes. You know what I mean, right? It's actually an 8-minute bus ride for my daughter going to school where I went to school as a child. That's the reality. The registration much lower. All rural municipalities use all of those property taxes to fund that. You're 18 times cheaper living in a rural town just outside of Edmonton, meaning I go rent or I go purchase there, but then I have another daughter who's in the city system, who's got to finish that, who's going to find herself in the same predicament as my daughter now today. And welcome to it. Tricked you. Oh, Mr. Bjorkman, maybe you should go rent an apartment for the next 2 years downtown and then subsidize your other daughter here, pay for another life here, and have another place over here. Or you register your daughter like college at 17 years old. Go to like the outreach or the Catholic side of outreach. And I forget what that's called. There's two different for public or private. But again, folks, this is for adults over the age of 19, not 17-year-old girls, not moving them to centralized cities. They're doing this to every child in Edmonton, in Calgary, and Red Deer, and maybe other municipalities. I shouldn't just wave my magic wand and say, it's only those 3 cities. For all I know, this could possibly be other communities. Maybe they're saying, I'm sorry, your daughter's or son's gonna have to go 4 municipalities over, 4 rural municipalities. Folks had a little technical difficulty with my power. I just hooked it up. So I hope people share this out. This was done by the progressive conservatives in Alberta Ministry. Rachel Notley carried it forward, no change. Danielle Smith, the education liar. I'm all about health and education. Where in their policies and platforms are all the vast majority of parents addressed? They're not. They want your daughters out there. Well, if they can't do those trades, I guess they better lay on their back and learn another trade. Maybe they should learn how to pole dance. Maybe they should learn to work in a massage parlor. These are the realities, folks. And if you don't pay attention, it's going to be you. It's going to be you next. And this is sad that this was a change between 11 and 10 years ago today. 11 and 10 years. And I only know because I'm going through the system. I know what my childhood was. I know what my son's education was because I was in charge of it. Absolutely. I made sure he got through until he was able to complete his trades. I made sure he had everything he needed to be successful and not throw him to the wolves. And now I face that reality with my daughters. And one for sure right now, and the other we'll see. But these things are important for people to know. It used to be that you could do all these things. It was reasonable. You could predict costs. You could keep them minimal. But now the government, the drunken pig sailor, pig at the trough, is just abusing you to all kinds of extremes. And you know what? And it's not to minimize people, make fun of people. But folks, new Canadians have no idea what was. Have no idea what was. And I guess the only lucky thing here is that I had generational children. Children spread far apart, right? I know that happens to a lot of folks where they start again, or there's a midlife child, where you have children again that may not have been actually planned, but it happens. And, that's kind of where it's at. We took a time off of children from previous marriage, combined family, and then children of our own. So, and I got involved. I was highly involved, and education's important. The future of children's important. And this is what I wrestle today. And it's a big wrestle. Like, how many places am I supposed to front? How many bills extra am I to front? And this is what's coming this year. Just dropped on you. Oh, by the way, it's a centralized socialist system now. You're going to have to arrange to have your child move there. You're going to have to arrange. If not that, it comes at an astronomical cost. The registrations are astronomical, just like college. And it's like, my daughter is 17 years old. She's not ready for any adult situations, not to be set up in a college stylized system. The system's failed me, and I know it's failing thousands and thousands of Edmontonian families, Calgary families, and absolute Red Deer families. And there's probably more. Like I said, I don't know, but I'm definitely going to explore it, and I'm going to explore all kinds of other provinces. How did this come about? We can look at its initial development with Brian Mulroney. There is no rights of parents in education. There hasn't been since Brian Mulroney. It's state over parents when it comes to children in education, in health, as you all know. We can look at forced vaccination, school drive vaccination, school drive education on vaccination, and many other concepts. Sex, sexuality, so much of it. Forced by the state. Parents who don't want it, I don't think it's appropriate in education for my children. I want them to be functional members of society. I don't want them in critical race theory. I don't want them in sexual exploitative educations. I don't want them learning your medical perversions that may or may not be backed up by science. That's not for you. If they pursue that in their careers in higher education, they're going to learn those things on their own. If it comes to my family where there's something different about my child, maybe the parent should be the one in charge and going through it. And yes, have government supports, but should it be behind the parents' backs? No. The Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, binding human rights laws, absolute, and it's measured in 9 other human rights laws, folks. 9 other binding human rights international laws says the parents are the pivotal point. The family is the fundamental unit of society. You don't have that, you don't have a functioning society. Brian Mulroney, with no opposition from the Liberals, of course, no opposition from NDP, signed the Convention on the Rights of a Child, meaning state is better determined on behalf of the parents, over and above the parents. Parents under state, more subjectivity. The state will determine what's important for your children, not you. This is all of education. This is all of their health and many, many more. If you want to know the entire list, look at your cabinet ministries, provincially and federally. Federally steals a whole bunch. They have no constitutional business having. We, the subjects and the defined savages, have let these things happen. Education is not by Justin Trudeau. Education is done by every provincial government and every provincial ministry. In my province of Alberta, folks, 2013 is absolutely the PCs. The Convention on the Rights of the Child, PCs. This whole concept of 15-minute cities that's been in the works for a long time, it was transitioned from my son. 13 years ago, that wasn't there in education. The following year, my daughter's assessment, it was implemented by the PCs. Notley ran with it. All Liberal MPs hired by the Conservatives, PCs, and then UCP, and there's lots. Right now, we have the director of the Liberal Party of Canada running for UCP in Edmonton Centre. Liberals. And I can show you the history. I just saw in the 2019 election, I did battle with a justice, full-on Liberal, attached to the Alberta Party. They're the Liberal Party too. UCP was the same thing. They took many. NDP too, and even Jason Kenney took on a pile of Saskatchewan NDP in his appointments in all kinds of massive provincial crown appointments. He put NDP and Liberal in there. What they show you on face, what they do in the legislature, what they talk on TV like, is not what they do in the back doors. It's not what they do on the crown side of things. And until we all come together and realize this, things like what are happening to me with my children right now in their rights to education and their now pressure to transport themselves massive distances. And I got to work all over Canada because I'm just a lowly, degenerate tradesman, right? The system doesn't work for anybody. It's broken. It's perverted. And I don't like the idea of a 17-year-old girl being forced into adult situations through what? Our education system. Do you think I trust any of these teachers and idiots as far as I can throw them? No. They think they're smarter than you. They're superior to you because they're crown. It's a corrupt, pervert system. You can look at communism and how they used it as a weapon. You can look at absolutely the entirety of all monarchies and as they used education to make it a preferred system for the wealthy elite. And all of you will become the hookers and prostitutes and degenerates, the societals that are available for them to exploit. And that's what it really is here, folks. And I hope everybody shares this video. This is real, credible, verifiable. I'm juggling. Where am I to next? What am I going to do as I'm at a road where my children are divided now. I'm at a road where they're to be split up and divided. And if I want to make sure my oldest daughter's safe, she's a type 1 diabetic. She's a high functioning, but she's autistic. She's not mentally handicapped, folks. There's social issues there, things I will always have to worry about with her, but she's smart. She can get through. She's got skills, mad skills, and I want to see those harnessed. And the education system promises to fail me and worse, fail my daughter. What if tomorrow I come down with an ailment like cancer or something else and I'm gone? Where are my kids going to be? Because as it stands, if I'm not here right now taking care of business on their behalf, if I was gone tomorrow, what would my daughter become? A pole dancer on her back prostitute, massage parlor worker? Where would the system see my daughter fall into in her situation? How's my daughter to navigate a 12-hour system? How is she going to carry 3 meals a day? Oh, don't worry. Just go out and buy food every day. Go to fast food 3 times a day, 5 times a day. Don't worry about it. It's a healthy, normal system. That's not healthy, it's not normal, and it's not economical. This system's broken. Broken, it's been remanipulated every decade over and over, little by little. Some are bigger, but ultimately, your corrupt governments, your crown, are taking more and more, delivering you less and less, and warping the system to work against you, to breach the family unit, to corrupt it. And for rural folks that are not experiencing this, that's today. What's today is not going to be tomorrow. They've already got their massive attacks. We see it in bylaw transformations. People think they can fight their way out of it. Learn the provincial crown. The provincial crown corrupts absolutely. They're in charge absolutely of all municipalities. If municipalities don't like what the provincial government if the provincial government doesn't like what the municipalities are putting through or doing, they will remove them. Read your constitution. You'll find that's the power of the province. Autocratic power over all municipalities. Not that the municipalities have long since been corrupted anyway. And, it's going to take this federal party that we're working on to restore all of this stuff, to bring common sense and the will of the people back in line, and to actually redraw a line in the sand to push back all the brainwashing, because that's really what it is. Institutionalized crown brainwashing. What was my son's time is not what's my daughter's time. It's like the bag of chips and inflation. Sure, they say, oh, no, we're not charging any more for the bag of chips. Nope, we're holding the line. Except for it was 95 grams 10 years ago for that bag of chips. The package hasn't changed. But now instead the chips, it's 65 grams for the same bag of chips. Reduced it by 33%. Same package, but 33% less product for the same price. There's no inflation, they say. No, there's inflation. Just like what's happened with education. Oh, you're going to move your daughter far, far away from where she lives in that municipality. You're getting 33% less chips in the bag than you got 10 years ago. My son was able to stay in that school till he's 19 years old. Just like the law of Alberta states clearly on the Alberta government website. But that's not what any of the major municipalities are doing. Not Catholic, not public, not any of them. They're all in cahoots. Under what? The provincial ministry. Conservative ministry. Rachel Notley was fully welcoming of it. She made no changes when she was Premier NDP. She thought that's wonderful. That's like communism. We love centralization. Let's do it. Let's force people to move into the center of the city, the 15-minute city. Or we'll just take your underage child, and you're going to have to hope that everything works out, that she won't get corrupted in an adult situation at 17 years old. And she's autistic to boot. Think about that. You see what? It wouldn't even matter with the autism. Still, would you want a 17-year-old girl, if you're a father out there, navigating what should be an over 19-year-old system, at least an adult system? I don't want it. And then it's, well, you're going to have to make the financial commitment to see this not that way. But it wasn't that way, and nobody told me this 10 years ago. I find out with the drop of a hat. Oh, happy graduation. By the way, we're going to rape and molest you again. And then if you don't agree to it, we're going to do it to your daughter. How do you like that? Go ahead, go away to work. Leave your daughter in the system. Just pay your fees, pay the extra transportation, and hope everything works out. Sick, depraved, nutty. And this is just Alberta, Canada, where everybody, this is a conservative stronghold. Centralized socialist, 50-minute city-styled city education for underage children. Think about that. Creepy, creepy. You can find this creepy system in